Hello friends, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you'll consider subscribing to my channel if you're enjoying the instruction that I'm giving you. So today we're going to be talking about everyone's favorite topic, intonation. So I asked you guys on my Instagram, if you don't follow me, you definitely should. It's at Suzuki Violin Teacher. If I gave you a magic wand, what would you magically fix about your playing? And a lot of the answers included intonation. So why is it so hard for us to play in tune? Well, first of all, there's no markers on the violin, right, that tell us where to put our fingers. We have to develop those physical and mental markers for ourselves. And second, the margin of error is incredibly small. So if our finger is off, even by just like literally a millicentimeter, then it's out of tune. So the first step in developing accurate intonation is, believe it or not, listening. If you don't know how something sounds and how it's supposed to sound, the harder it is going to be for you to play in tune. This is why in the Suzuki method, listening is so heavily emphasized because it really helps us be able to play in tune. Now, when you first start out, you probably aren't going to be able to hear all of the minute little differences. It is going to take a while for your ear to get properly trained. So as your ear gets better, as you get better at recognizing these really minute differences in pitch, then your intonation will get better as well. So now I'm going to go over some practice strategies that you can include in your own practice that will help you with your intonation. So the first practice strategy that I recommend, besides listening, is to practice with a tuner. So I think practicing with a tuner is so important right at first because, again, our ear probably isn't fully developed right at the beginning of our journey. Honestly, it took me years to develop my ear, so if you're feeling that you've been playing for 2-3 years and you're still not playing in tune, just give it time. So basically, you put your tuner on your stand and turn it on, and then play the passage, a very small passage, maybe like 1 or 2 measures even, very slowly, and don't move on to the next note until the light turns green. Now, when you're doing this, it's very important to take mental notes of how you need to adjust your fingers. I even like to write like arrows up in my music if the note needs to go higher, and arrows down in my music if the note needs to go lower. We want our mind to always be engaged during practice, and we want to be feeling the physical changes as well as the mental. Another intonation practice strategy is to check with your open strings. So every time you have a G, D, A, or E, you can check with that respective open string and see if the pitches match. Another great intonation practice strategy is to practice with a drone. So this is a little bit more advanced because, like I said at the beginning, it can be hard to tell if you're actually in tune with the drone or not. So to practice with a drone, put your drone on to play out the tonic of the key that you're playing. So if I'm playing a piece in G major, I would have my drone play out a G. And then again, I would practice very slowly, really listening to each individual note and how that is in tune with the G. Another great thing that you can do in practicing with drones is to actually record yourself while you're playing with the drone and then listen back to it, and that will help you see even better if you were in tune or not. Another intonation practice strategy is to practice in double stops. So we all know that when we're playing the violin, we want to keep our fingers down as much as possible. So I can demonstrate this with a passage from the Vivaldi A minor first movement. So check that double stop. Check that one. So basically just trying to keep my fingers down as much as possible and play all the different combinations of double stops that passage will allow. Another really great tool to practice for intonation is to record yourself. A lot of times I find that things sound different underneath my ear than they do when I am recording myself and listening back to it. Especially if you have like a really fast passage, it can be hard to hear the exact notes that need to be adjusted. So I really recommend recording yourself and listening back to the recording to see if you're in tune. So really, developing your intonation is a lifelong process. I think we're all still working on it. And it really requires, first and foremost, that your ear be able to hear the very subtle and minute differences in pitch. Also, if you're playing a passage and you're finding that a certain note is out of tune, or you're holding a long note and it's out of tune, don't be afraid to adjust while you're playing. I'd rather have that like little moment of adjustment and then the rest of it be in tune than just to keep playing it out of tune for like the whole passage. So those are some of my favorite intonation practice strategies. Definitely let me know if I missed your favorite down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and happy practicing.